Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. Well, Nick Collier here once again, and we've got a nice little short project. Well, it's actually longer than this last one, but fairly short to do, I hope. So, I don't know, probably a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, guy calls me up and says, I got this old Victorian house and I need a switch plate made. And I'm thinking, a switch plate? Let's just go down to the hardware store. He says, well, it's kind of a specialty deal. It was made in the 1890s, the house was. And so he sent me this plate from another part of the house and says, can you make me 2 of these? And I said, well, I certainly can, in brass. And so I ordered some metal, and it came in just a little while ago. And unfortunately, the metal is just chewed. I was like, come on. But I think there's not any really deep gouges. So I think I can just go ahead and sand this down, and then once I've got it machined, or sand it down to get it even, and then once I got it machined, go ahead and take it down to a polish. So that's basically what we're gonna do today is, well, actually not today, we're just gonna sand it right now. It's afternoon, one day after the election. I was freaking out this morning. Now I'm feeling a little better. So anyhow, so we're going to get the sander out. We might just try sanding by hand. It might not be that deep of scratches, and we're going to see what everything looks like. Hey, hang in there with me. We're going to have some fun. Okay, we got the paper in our little plastic sanding board, and we're just seeing if we can get the major part of these scratches out. And I think it looks pretty good. A couple little right there, but not too bad. Yeah, that's gonna work out just fine. Okay, let's check the other side out, make sure we don't have any deep scratches in here. Okay, we got something right down here. I think we got her. So, from this point, we're going to take and we're going to put this maybe on the piece of wood. I'm not sure. It might be better to put it on a piece of aluminum. We're just going to land it something like that so that we have something to grab onto on the mill. And this this piece of wood actually was run through the planer, so it's nice and flat. But I'm thinking a piece of aluminum might be a better deal, because when I glue it, the way I'm going to unglue it is by heating it up, and I don't want to heat it up from the front surface. I want to heat it up from the back. So and then it basically, once it gets hot enough, the glue just releases and it slides right off. So tomorrow morning we're on this, and until then, adios. All right, well, it's the next morning, fairly early. And we have the two plates here, the old one and the new one. Now, to tell the truth, I made these, and I'll show you the... He wanted two of them, so I made two. And then when I got done, I was polishing it, and I noticed a little divot in the material right there. Ah, just killed me. I got all the way done, and there's that divot. And you know, as I'm polishing in, I bust through into that hole. So I called him up and I said, well, can you live with that? And he goes, well, no, I can't. So we need to make another one. And I didn't film it. So now I have the opportunity to film this. And, you know, we've got one good one. And we've got the old one. And we've got the second new one. Now, before we come in and put all the holes in and put the bevel around the border, we need to turn this over, and there are places all along here where there are some reductions, and I'm assuming it's some kind of a you know, clearance issue. So we're going to set this up, and let's just take these and get rid of them, so they don't get fucked up. We're going to put a piece of paper down to protect this surface. We can bring the paper all the way out to the edge here. And we want to square this up with the table. And some years back, when I first got this table, I made these little wedges. And basically, let me make sure I don't have any chips right there. Basically, I can just slide the wedges down and bring this up against the wedge, and I've got a nice square surface. So let's get some hold downs. Okay, so we're back. We've set our center line because this is 3 inches and this is 2 7/8. So we can't go by these measurements here. So half of the size of this is 1750. So half of that is 875 thousandths, which takes us right to about there. Closer to there and there. So I think what we can do is just go ahead and let's go 875. Nope, it goes from center line. There's our center line. All right. Now we can just scratch it in. That should do. And I'm thinking just on this side too. Yep. So that would be here, 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 and there, and here, and there, and there, and there. I'm just putting those marks in so I kind of know where I'm at. All right, so now we measure our depth. And which is about 60 thousandths. And we find a bit that has this radius. And I just come in from the back side of the bit and take a strike here. And we're talking about clearance, so radius is not a key factor. In fact, nothing is a key factor except for the 60 thousandths depth and this general shape. So this is going to do just fine. And we've got a pretty sharp bit. And of course it's in brass, so it's not going to be a major fight. All right. So, bring it up. That's probably good. Let's readjust the camera. Maybe we can get in a little closer. How about that? Not bad. Okay. We'll start in on this end. We're going to go down. Find 0, lock it in place. And again, it's not a big deal. All right, well, we moved. So let's bring it back. And I'm thinking we can just leave those in there. That's going to help a bit. And we're going to have to take these a little bit tighter. Well, we got outside of the line just a little bit, but I think it's going to be fine. Okay, so we're on to our next part, next section. We've brought the bit down to 0. And again, it's not critical, it's just clearance. So now we're going to bring it up to the line. Oh, wait a second. Let's take it down to 60 thousandths. You know, I just can't help myself. You know, it comes from when I was a kid working at my dad's shop. We used to tear apart old Coke machines and take out the precious metals, copper, brass, sometimes aluminum, and also the coins. And you know, we'd go cash the brass in about every 6 months or so and end up with a big pile of money in my dad's pocket. But you know, at least I saw the value. And you know, what is this going to weigh? A couple of ounces. But I got a whole can of this stuff that I've gathered over the years, and at some point or another going to go cash it in. Been waiting for metals to go up. Okay, one last hole here, at least on this side. Okay, this part's done. Let's take it over to the other, to the table over there and see what we can. I went out into the aluminum boneyard and found myself a nice piece of material, and it is nice and flat. Yep. And this should work out pretty good. What we need is something to be able to grab onto without actually grabbing onto this. So we'll put this in the middle of here. We could probably just bring it up to one edge. That looks pretty good. So, what we're going to do, flip it upside down, take a little liquid nails. Flip it back over and drop it into place. Looks pretty good. We'll take this piece of wood and we'll put it on top of it, and then we're going to take some heavy object and put it on top of that. How about this piece of granite? Ugh. And it really doesn't matter where it lands. I mean, it could be back and forth. We're going to line up to the brass, not the aluminum. So, but I want to have it somewhat close. I think it's going to be good. So now we just let this set up for, oh, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, and come back to it, and we're ready to start machining. And okay, I'll be back. It's 5 or 6 hours later. We're gonna take our granite block off and see if that glue is set up. Oh, it's looking good. Ah, nope. Look at that, it's still gooey. Well, we'll leave the granite block off and see if we can get it to set up. Give it a few more hours. And if it doesn't work, because it is liquid nails, and I'm not sure that liquid nails works metal to metal now that I think of it. If it doesn't work, in the next couple of hours, I'm going to go ahead and take it off and put some JB Weld in there. And JB Weld will hold that. All right, so we'll be back. Okay, it's early the next morning. I kept an eye on that glue yesterday afternoon, and it would not set up. So liquid nails does not work between aluminum and brass. So I had to come back in with some JB Weld, and that's got it locked in really good and tight. So what we're going to do now is we've got the back side done. Now we need to get the front side figured out. And I think what I'm going to do is just drop this on top of there. And we've got a margin around the whole thing. I think that looks pretty good. And we're just going to come in and scribe our holes. And remember, you know, this is a switch plate. We're not working on any precision project here. So then I'll just scribe the outside perimeter. And that should give us what we want. I'm thinking that looks pretty good. Now, can you see? Yeah, you can see a little bit of scribe stuff going on. Now we're going to rotate up to the table, clean off that table a little bit. Looks good. Now, none of this is really critical. But it all has to kind of relate to itself. So really all I need to do is to find this line and follow that line with something. So we're going to get a pointer in there and just figure out generally where our squareness is, and then it's got to be cut. The perimeter's got to be cut and the holes have to be cut, so it's all going to be pretty simple, one would hope. So we're going to get a pointer out here. Okay, and however much we're off on that line, it's not going to be a big issue because we're going to square up the entire piece. So now what I want to do is I want to find center, and I think what I can do is just DRO it, and then just come on over to this side. Hit my halfway mark. There's halfway. Punch it through there. Actually, that's a little bit big. Check it out. So it's just a smidge small, but I don't think that's going to hurt anything. So, all right. We're ready to rock and roll. So we're just going to come around until we hit center. Come in and looks pretty good. Okay. Well, hell, I forgot to turn the camera on. So, we got the holes drilled. Now we're going to countersink them. And the small holes are countersunk at 60 degrees, whereas the big holes are countersunk at, what is it? 120 degrees. So we're gonna start this up. And you know what? Let's just put it in slow mode here. We're going to measure across the old one. Get some kind of a measurement going. Just a little bit more to go. Just a tad more. That's it. Okay, come back to the next one. All right, got the small holes drilled.